PSEG has been around for over 100 years, and boy, the company has gone through so many changes. I'm joined by the CEO, Ralph Izzo. So your company, at one time, had a transportation group in it. You know, you've been in gas, electric, you've had at least 100 utility companies at one point. Let's talk about how many changes your company has gone through, and then we'll go into where we're at today, because really, you know, in the 30s, you were many different utility companies, and then you got broken up, and so let's talk about that.
Sure, Deb. We started out as a transportation business, as you mentioned, and then we went to a natural gas business, and then as electricity became more ubiquitous, we turned into an electric company. So I think there have been a series of changes over those years, some driven by technology, some by regulatory policy, some by lifestyle changes.
Yep. So one of the things that I thought was interesting was that you did sell your transport company to New Jersey, to the state of New Jersey, but now you're doing car charging in your garage, so it's almost come full circle.
Right, yeah, we had a ribbon cutting ceremony the other day where we in fact separated some electrical cords to christen the nation's largest electric vehicle charging station, and we have high hopes for that space. It's another great use of our product, another clean use of our product. But I think what's been consistent over 100 years is really our desire to meet the needs of customers and shareholders. I think the thing we're proudest of is over those 100 years, people have grown to respect us and admire us. Our shareholders have grown accustomed to a dividend for each of those 100 years, never being missed, never being reduced. But today it is more about solar farms than it is about kerosene lamps.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You know, we went from gas to electric, and now we're into solar. You know, how big do you think solar is going to become?
I think it's going to become increasingly large for two reasons. Number one, the price of solar technology keeps coming down, and the environmental impact and the costs associated with the use of fossil fuels keeps going up. And that'll bridge the gap and it still is a gap, but it'll bridge that gap over time.
You know, if you're in the New York area in the Northeast, we are having a horrible heat wave. It's so hot out there. But, you know, heat waves are good business for you, right?
Well, they are good business for us, provided we keep the power on and the lights on and the air conditioners humming. I check how our power plants are performing and how our distribution system is performing, and knock wood, everything is working quite well now. And it's actually not about knocking wood. It's about being grateful to that 10,000 employees who day in and day out make sure that when we have a heat index of 100 degrees, that people are comfortable inside their buildings and inside their homes.
Okay, of course we have to talk about storms, you know. We are just kicking off summer here, but towards the end of the summer we're going to hit that storm season again. How are you guys prepared for storms?
Yeah, so that's the lifestyle change I talked about before. While people are not using a lot more electricity, they are so much more dependent upon it than they ever were before, whether it's for their large flat screen TV or just recharging their cell phone. So what we've done is we've invested heavily in our infrastructure, and we've asked regulators to allow us to almost quadruple the amount of annual investment we make in that infrastructure, to move away from just reliable assets to assets that are resilient to the types of unprecedented storms we've had in the past. So I will tell you right now, the grid is not ready for a repeat of Sandy or a repeat of Irene. That level of investment is not something that we've been given the permission to make in our home jurisdictions. And we're having that discussion right now about how to start making those investments. And we need to get that underway as soon as possible.
Well, I'm sure everyone will be happy to hear that, and we hope you have great progress with that. That's CEO of PSEG, Ralph Izzo, and I'm Deborah Borchardt with The Street.